Hey everybody, Playtender Guy here, and today I'm bringing you my review of Just Cause 4. Just Cause 3 was one of the more disappointing games of this generation for me. Trailers looked great and I was really quite hyped for it. But alas, when the game dropped, it was, well, just fine. It was your typical open world game that was huge, but the game suffered from some horrendous performance issues that really spoilt the game for me, and I never finished it because of it. Anyway, just over 3 years later, we are now getting Just Cause 4, and let's see if it's better than the travesty that was Just Cause 3. Let's find out. Let's start the review off with the big worry I had before starting the game out the way first, the frame rate. It was just beyond awful in Just Cause 3, but thankfully it's hugely improved over the previous game. The frame rate is 30 FPS, and thankfully it sticks to it for around 90% of the time, only really dropping when there's a load of explosions on the screen. The loading times have also been greatly improved from the previous game. The initial loading takes a couple of minutes, but after that it's a matter of seconds to fast travel and load story missions. It's very impressive. Alas though, the frame rate fixes have come at the cost of the resolution. The game's resolution is frankly all over the place, even on the PS4 Pro. We're seeing resolution from 1080p to 720p to anywhere in between. It's constantly changing and it can be quite jarring at times, especially when you first start up the game, and notice quite hazy backgrounds. You do get accustomed to it over time, and recent patches have improved it somewhat, but it's still odd nevertheless. Just Cause 4 stories follows series protagonist and one-man army Rico Rodriguez as he continues his mission to free various countries of unruly dictators. This time we see Rico visit the region of Solis, and it's under the grips of an army for hire called the Black Hand, as well as some shady government official. The story tries to make you care for Rico with a backstory of sorts, but frankly I wasn't that keen on the story at all and skipped some of the cutscenes. The main point of a Just Cause game is to blow shit up, and Just Cause 4 continues that to a point. Whereas the previous game had you blowing up loads of stuff to cause as much chaos as possible, it's much less prominent in this entry. Don't get me wrong, there's still loads of gas canisters to shoot and explosions to be had, there's just much fewer of them. The game's main selling point and highly advertised feature is the extreme weather that can be encountered throughout the game. This includes sandstorms, thunderstorms, and hurricanes. These extreme weather conditions are part of the game's main level structure to take them all down, as they're made because of some sort of scientific machinery, and it's your job to take them all down. Most of the main missions are standard fare. Go here, hack this, shoot this, or steal this vehicle. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's a serious case of deja vu. That being said, the levels where you do take down the dangerous weather is an absolute blast and a real visual spectacle, and probably the best parts of the game. Progression through the game story will be halted at times as you have to secure certain regions of the map away from the Black Hand. This sees you clearing out an outpost of sorts, then using your available units to claim the region. It's a cool idea that would have been nice if it was expanded upon a bit more so the enemy units could try and take back regions from your hands. When you get into combat, there's a wide range of different weapons to use, from normal submachine guns to explosive rockets. There's a good selection to choose from, but undoubtedly the best weapons is either the wind gun or the lightning gun, which shoots either a huge gust of wind to blow your enemies away, or shock them to death with a bolt of electricity. Both are huge fun to use. Apart from the explosions and all-out action the series is known for, Rico's grappling hook is also pretty iconic in its own right. From the ability to latch onto anything and pull himself towards it, to the ability to skydive amongst the pigeons whilst wearing a squirrel suit, traversing the game with the grappling hook is a lot of fun. What is also a lot of fun is the various abilities you can use in combat with your grappling hook. You can either tether items or enemies together, attach balloons to them so they float away, or attach boosters to make your vehicle go faster. When you first get access to these abilities, they're fine enough, but it's when you unlock mods for them, that's where the real fun begins. Unlike in Just Cause 3, when unlocking mods was drawn out and rather boring affair, you unlock mods here by helping out your three main allies, by doing their missions and some side activities. And boy, some of these mods are pretty crazy, such as improving the tether to fling stuff from one side to another, and making the booster go so fast it sends vehicles flying in a circle. It's hilarious to watch and pull off. As for the game's map of Solis, we have a pretty large open world to explore instead of just Calls 3 Medici, which had loads of little islands. Solis is pretty much one large clump of world. It contains your typical seaside, tropical, desert, and winter areas, and whilst it's big and there's plenty of secrets and Easter eggs, like the fun take on the 80s classic Take on Me, the world isn't really filled with memorable locales and just ends up feeling like another open world game. Also, the vehicles you use to explore the game with handle like you're driving on ice, especially the cars and bikes. Helicopters are the best vehicles in the game by far, they feel more accurate and much better for it. Lengthwise, the main story will take you a slightly short 6 to 8 hours if you just focus on doing the main missions, which is a bit of a shame. But there is a decent amount of side stuff to do, like the 3 different side stories, 400 mini stunts to pull off, as well as temples to find. So even though the main story is short, there's enough extra content to last you another 10 or 15 hours if you want to 100% it. It's also worth noting that the game can be incredibly glitchy at times, from hilarious little ones that don't really hamper gameplay, to missions not loading up properly, character escorts not moving, and some stunts just not registering at all. These problems may not happen to you, but I did encounter a few of these, so I just thought I'd let you know in case you do plan on getting the game. Conclusion time now, and Just Cause 4 feels what Just Cause 3 should have been day one, with much more better performance. Even though the resolution does take a real noticeable hit, the action is fast and fun and the upgrade system is much better this time around. The new extreme weather is also a blast too, it's just a shame that the whole experience can be rather glitchy and rather repetitive. But nevertheless, it doesn't stop Just Cause 4 from delivering an enjoyable ride, so that's why I'm giving Just Cause 4 a 7 out of 10 with a total of good. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming. Bye!